James Carr, happy to have you along with us this morning as we've got all kinds of greatness to bring to you as the high school football week number 2. It was interesting, as without to say the least. You had a thunderstorm that decided it was going to show up around 6 o'clock last night. And in the process, it was absolutely a train wreck at times. Some teams got it early. Some teams got it late. I think Betsy Lane and Morgan County last night, they signed off about midnight. Okay, but it was a crazy night to say the least, and but some good football that was played around the area. Scoreboard ticker on Cool TV flowing through on the bottom there, as you can see all of the scores that are out from last night. Let's take a look at some of the games from last evening. Johnson Central was down in Lexington. They played Fern Creek and hammered the Fern Creek Tigers out of Louisville 55-19. Ashland defeats Boyd County 22-8. Beechwood beats up on Paintsville 46-7. Bracken County 2 better than Lewis in a baseball score 8-6. They win that one at home. Pineville hammers Fairview 43-0. It was Greenup County over Martin County 43-6. Ironton defeats Jackson 29-26. Betsy Lane knocks off Morgan County 14-12. It was Paris over Bath County 57-12. East Carter shuts out Rowan County 34-0. And Fleming County defeats West Carter 25-7. All those scores down there on the bottom of your scoreboard ticker rolling through throughout the show. Of course, tonight, the big one over at Raceland. It's the true home opener for the Rams and the first night on their new playing surface, their brand new turf field. And it's the 14th annual Rail Cities Bowl as they'll bring in Russell. I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. Tim Champlin is scheduled to join me a little bit later on in the show. We're going to try something new with Coach. We're going to try a video conference with him, so we'll see how that works on that side of things. We'll check Major League Baseball scores and wild card standings as we get ready to head into the final month of the regular season, as September is not too far away next week. And, of course, at the end of the game, the end of the show, it's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to preview tonight's matchup. It's Russell at Raceland, the home opener for the Rams, and the 14th annual Rail Cities Bowl. That's as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stultz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stultz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Be prepared for all of those outdoor jobs this summer by stopping by Wagner Rental and Supply for everything you need for jobs of all sizes, including a full line of Echo lawn and garden tools, trimmers, brush cutters, power blowers, head clippers, and chainsaws. Check out their landscaping equipment such as 4x4 tractors with loaders, mini excavators, post hole diggers, trenchers, wood chippers, tillers, and more. Find the equipment, tools, and supplies you need for your next project.
Your tri-state rental supermarket, Wagner Rental and Supply.
New Boston, Jackson, Chillicothe, and Ashland, or online, WagnerRental.com.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. August brings the start of school and the end of summer vacation, but it's not the end of great savings at Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. This month, find 25-ounce bottles of Path Water. Buy one, get one free. With 25 cents of each bottle sold, going to the Rodney Clark Memorial Scholarship Fund. Plus, Ice Cube Bottle Pack Gum is 2 for $6, and you'll find many other great deals. That's Clark's Pumpkin Shops of the Tri-State, where you can return, refresh, refuel.
The greatest songs of all time. You've got cool kids. 105.7.
Back on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carr, happy to have you along with us this morning on Cool Hits 105.7 FM as well as on Cool TV. If you've got me tuned in over there, let me know. Hit me on Twitter at CollierSZLive. Give me a little message there, and or you can hit me on the chat side of things, and I'll give you a shout out throughout the broadcast. Rail Cities Bowl number 14 tonight over at Raceland at Worthington High School. This was an event that started back in 2007 when Raceland and Russell got back together and started playing this. And I had a chance to talk with some of the people around Raceland this week, and one of those guys was the man who was the head coach for the Rams in 2007 when this game started back up, Randy Vanderhoof. And he said the experience was amazing. He said people were there 2 days early setting up chairs and spots for where they wanted to sit around the track. He said it was 3 to 4 deep around the track. He said there was probably 5, 6, 7,000 people there. The biggest thing he said is when they came out of the back of the building and was headed over to the old school to where their weight room facility is, he said it was like walking through college game day. He said it was like Alabama-Auburn or something. He said there were people everywhere, and he said the atmosphere was electric. Just looking up in the stands, it was a back-and-forth battle. Russell won that game that night, 35-14. But then Raceland rolled off 6 straight all the way up through 2015. Russell got a win by 1 back in 2016. And then Raceland 2 in a row. Russell's won the last 3, including last year 28-18. The 2 prior to that were the 2 largest margins of victory throughout the series, 41-0 and 41-21. And it's been one of those things when you put these 2 teams together, you can kind of throw the stats out the window a lot of the times. It's a rivalry game. I talked with some of the players and the coaches around Raceland this week, and the biggest thing they talk about is the fact of you see these guys, these players, they're friends. They're out, as Coach Huffy said, they go to Taco Bell and get something to eat. And he said, but Friday night, this week Saturday night, when they hook up, it's going to be a war. And it's especially for Raceland with so many expectations looming around the program this year of this may be the year they make a run toward Kroger Field. And they are considered one of the top teams in all of Class Single A. And I think that it's probably safe to say it's Kroger Field or bust for this year's Rams program. But this is a game that it's a non-conference game. They're not in the same district. They're not in the same classification. But this one's that rivalry game that so many put so much into. And the big thing with Raceland is coming off a nice win over Ashland last week, 34-7. And last year, I think there was an emotional letdown for the Rams when they went into that Russell game, and they fell 28-18. It was Raceland, I don't think, was expected to beat Ashland last year. This year they were. And now the true testament comes to say this is the year that Raceland is expected to make great strides. So the win over Ashland should not have been unexpected. So the question is, will they have that emotional letdown coming into this one here? And that is the big thing with this one is, can they get past that part of it? Now, on paper, the odds favorites is obviously Raceland. Okay, they're loaded. 19 of their 22 starters from last season's team that went into the state Final Four return. And it all starts up front with that big offensive line in which they lost one member from their senior class last year of 2 of Will Farley. But you put a veteran offensive line in front of now their junior quarterback who is now 15 starts deep into his playing career. And it has certainly, you could tell a difference in the progression and the confidence level on the field of Logan Lundy last week. There was a couple of plays that Lundy made, and I talked to him this week, and I talked with Coach Sammons as well. And the one play that I was so drawn about that I said was probably his best play all night long, they wanted to go to a deep post route, which was double covered. He had to roll out left, and in the process of rolling out, his slot receiver of Landon Newman released back into the center of the field. He had inside position on the guy covering him, and Lundy probably could have gotten a pass close to him, but he was going to have to be throwing on the run back across his body. And then, instead of making this, he pulls it down, scrambles out of bounds, and picks up 5 yards. And the Rams end up scoring on that drive. And I thought that was probably one of the best plays that he made through that game because he didn't try to do too much. You know, Lundy has an electric arm. He can sling it down the field 50, 60 yards. He's got prolific receivers to where he can get it to any of his guys, and they can do pretty much anything they want from any position. But having ability to beat you with his legs is what forces teams to have to account for him, and it takes away being able to pack the box and trying to go to a blitz package to where you're sending more guys and they've got to cover. And that was the thing Ashland really struggled with. They just could not get pressure on Lundy. Russell tonight, that's the biggest thing they're going to have to do. They've got to find a way to get around his legs, make him step up in the pocket, force him out of the pocket, and then in the process, make him do stuff faster than he wants to. Now, he's got a four-headed monster, and it's in the backfield. And it's accented with Jules Farrow and Noah Wallace. And the thing that was coming in was the fact that you've got Farrow on the one side, Wallace on the other. And last week, it was another guy who led them in rushing, of Isaac Browning. Browning toted the load 12 times, 61 yards, had 2 touchdowns. And then that really opened up what Raceland wanted to do because of the fact of the way they were running the football. And they threw the ball 12 times. That was completed out of 18 attempts. And Connor Hughes goes for 5 catches for 106 yards. 2 big plays that he had, 44 and 36, nearly scored on the last one. And it was funny, after the game, when I saw the yardage that he had, I was like, wow, I didn't realize that he'd picked up that much. And then you think back of those 2 chunk plays, over 80 yards. And that was something I was kind of caught off guard by because of the fact of I didn't realize that he'd picked up that much because everything was emphasized so much around the running attack. The time of possession battle was phenomenal. Raceland did not allow Ashland to have a first down the entire second half. And in the process of doing that, that right there really dictated the tempo of forcing Ashland's defense to have to stay on the field way longer than they wanted to. And Raceland took advantage of that. You look at that backfield of Raceland, Jules Farrow, Noah Wallace, both of those guys can go off for 100 yards. Both of those have their own style of running. Farrow is kind of a more shifty guy. Wallace is downhill between the tackles, but he can bust it outside if he needs to. And then you throw Jackson Heighton in there, who's a guy that is a good short yardage guy, can pick you up 3-4 yards and move the sticks. So we'll see how that works as we move forward. Now, on the receiving side of things, as I was talking about, Lundy has so many weapons that he can throw to. Obviously, his primary target, Connor Hughes, leading receiver from last year's team. Parker Fannon's in that mix. He caught the only touchdown that Lundy threw last week, three balls for 35 yards, including the first score. They add in Mason Likens, the transfer out of Russell, who caught 2 passes last week and works as an outside receiver that gives them that deep threat. And then Landon Newman only caught one ball, but he's a guy that works out of the slot position, can do so much from that spot. And then they can roll out Farrow from the backfield in little swing routes or wheel routes. We'll see how that all plays out. Now, on the other side of things, you look at Russell. A tough week last week for the Red Devils because they turned the football over 3 times, and including one down the stretch there at the end of the ball game. That when they were driving, trying to get the football in the range of Nathan Totten. And pretty much anything 40 yards and in, that kid's in range. And probably I can stretch it way farther than that, but I'm going to be safe and say 40. But the interesting thing with Russell tonight is they can't have costly turnovers. Ethan Pack will have his second start, and he's going to be in a volatile environment. Last week was at home. This week's on the road. And he's going to have to be able to manage the game. If he can manage the game and not give Raceland extra opportunities to have the football, then it gives Russell a fighter's chance in this football game. But in a game like this, it's a rival game, and anybody that's been around this series knows, turnovers in a game of this magnitude are amplified, especially when you convert those into points because it's like a 14-point swing. Russell has to be able to not allow Raceland to have those big chunk plays and be able to control the tempo as they go forward. We'll see how that works. It all starts in the backfield with Andre Richardson-Cruz and Colby Rock. Both of those guys are going to tote the load, and they have got to be able to control the tempo down the field. Obviously, Carson Patrick is a guy that they're going to try to go to a lot in the air attack. Patrick is a guy that he can get over top of the defense. He's got great speed, and on a basketball court, he can jump out of the gymnasium. So put that on a football field, and it transpires pretty well. This one's going to be a good one, okay? I've got Raceland pick the win in this one. I think Raceland is the better team on paper, but I don't know that it's going to be a blowout like some people think. I just don't see, when you put these two teams together, of it being a blowout. I could be totally wrong, and I could be totally wrong on the pick too. We will find out tonight at 8 o'clock when we tee it up at Raceland Worthington High School. But this is going to be, I think, a pretty spectacular game to be a part of. Now, the event tonight is also going to be pretty spectacular as well. Obviously, they're welcoming the first time of playing on their new turf, and that's an exciting thing around the program and around the community. You drive up US 23 and you start past the softball field, and then boom, right there's that brand new playing surface, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Under the lights, it pops. Those orange and black, it on the big logo at midfield, it's pretty amazing. But tonight's also Hall of Fame night for the Rams. They always do that in that early part of the season, and they've got 5 members of the Hall of Fame class for 2022 that's going in. Mark Kirk out of 1988, Dan Burris, Clayton Thompson, Linwood Walker, and Mike Wilson from 1974, Clint Thompson from 2007, Dan Burris from 1965, and Linwood Walker from 1948. And we are going to have a special tailgate pregame show from Raceland Worthington High School tonight. We'll start in the parking lot, and then we'll go up to the press box to call the game. But Jim Forrest and I, Spencer Hutchinson's going to join us. We're going to have some of the members from the Hall of Fame class coming in. We're going to have Larry Coldiron that's going to join us. We'll talk about the new playing surface. We'll preview the matchup, and we'll have pregame interviews with Coach Sammons, Coach Maynard, and I've got a special video that's going to roll right before pregame as we go into kickoff. And then again, Jim and I will be on the call tonight from Raceland Worthington High School on the new turf for the 14th annual Rail Cities Bowl. Raceland leads the series 8-5, but Russell's won the last 3. All right, let's take a break. I've got Tim Champlin in waiting. I've got to get him to turn his phone the correct way. We'll fix that. And we will talk some East Carter football. A nice win last night for his Raiders. We'll talk with him when we return after this on the Cool Hits Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stelz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stelz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Be prepared for all of those outdoor jobs this summer by stopping by Wagner Rental and Supply for everything you need for jobs of all sizes, including a full line of Echo lawn and garden tools, trimmers, brush cutters, power blowers, head clippers, and chainsaws. Check out their landscaping equipment such as 4x4 tractors with loaders, mini excavators, post hole diggers, trenchers, wood chippers, tillers, and more. Find the equipment, tools, and supplies you need for your next project.
Your tri-state rental supermarket, Wagner Rental and Supply.
New Boston, Jackson, Chillicothe, and Ashland, or online, WagnerRental.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Bowling, Senior Vice President of Kentucky Farmers Bank. When you do business with Kentucky Farmers Bank, you're making an investment in your community. Your money stays local, we never sell your loan, and in turn, we invest in local families, churches, schools, and charities. We believe in our community, and that's why we are the better bank for loans.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for loans since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
The weather is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. For low prices on snacks, soft drinks, and quality Marathon gasoline, visit the Clark's Pump and Shop nearest you. Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. Return, refresh, refuel.
Cool Hits weather.
Looking pretty good for your Saturday. We'll see some sunshine, maybe a few passing clouds, slight chance of a shower, a high of 87. Mostly clear tonight, low of 66. We'll see sunny skies once again on Sunday, a little hot, high of 92. Partly cloudy Sunday night, low of 71.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Back on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carter, happy to have you along with us this morning on Cool Hits 105.7 FM as well as on Cool TV. We've got a new feature we're going to add into the show this morning, and this is something that, again, the TV side of things allows us to do. So Coach Champ out of East Carter, he's always a big guy. He loves coming in the studio. Just couldn't make it in this morning. I said, all right, I've got a new feature we can try. We're going to try a video conference. So this is the first ever thing we've got here. So we're going to bring Coach Champ in. Champ, are you with me first off?
I am. I'm here.
He is, but he has his phone muted, I believe.
No.
Yeah, he's got his phone muted. We got to get his phone going here. We got no audio from him.
Can you hear me?
He's still working. We'll try to get it in there. We got Coach Champ in there with us in a second. Coach is trying to figure out audio, so we'll get back to him in just a second. Coach, give me a thumbs up when you think you've got it all squared away. But a nice win last night for his Raiders, 34-0 over Rowan County, after a tough win over Montgomery County, and it was a 14-7 win then. And the last night, it was something to go through. Okay, Coach, I'm told that we are good to go, so I think we're good. I just cannot hear you, and I know why. So hang on just a second. I've got to slide my headphones over to the other spot. And now we bring him in, and head coach from the East Carter Raider, Tim Champlin's in. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Coach, give me a break here. I'm trying to figure this stuff out as we go along. But, hey, thanks for joining us, man. We greatly appreciate it.
I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having us.
Coach, let's talk about well, we're not hearing him on that side there. Okay. Coach, we're going to have to put you in queue for just a second because I got to try to get it back to you. So give me just a second. We'll try to get back to you in here just a second, okay? All right, so I got to figure out how to go with this, Dwayne. How can I get that back over to them? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to call Coach Champlin, and we'll put him in queue on that side of things, and then we'll also have him over on the streaming side of things. So let's hit a break. We'll call Coach Champlin. We'll get him in queue on the telephone as well. So, Coach, stand by. We're going to make a phone call to you as well, and we'll try to get all this squared away. So, back after this on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stelz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-through. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stelz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Be prepared for all of those outdoor jobs this summer by stopping by Wagner Rental and Supply for everything you need for jobs of all sizes, including a full line of Echo lawn and garden tools, trimmers, brush cutters, power blowers, head clippers, and chainsaws. Check out their landscaping equipment such as 4x4 tractors with loaders, mini excavators, post hole diggers, trenchers, wood chippers, tillers, and more. Find the equipment, tools, and supplies you need for your next project.
Your tri-state rental supermarket, Wagner Rental and Supply.
New Boston, Jackson, Chillicothe, and Ashland, or online, WagnerRental.com. Kids are going back to school, and summer is coming to an end, but the savings continue at your local Clark's Pump and Shops. Right now, get assorted Hershey, regular size candy bars. Buy two, get one free. Assorted Chex Mix and Bugles, 2 for $3. Plus, you'll find many other great bargains. Heading back to school or that final weekend get-together, you'll find all your snacks, soft drinks, and more at Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State, where you can return, refresh, refuel.
I'm April Perry, the CEO of Kentucky Farmers Bank. On average, our employees have been with Kentucky Farmers Bank for over 10 years, and that is important to you and us. We want you to know who you are dealing with. Whether you are financing a new home, buying a car, or remodeling your kitchen, Kentucky Farmers Bank is the better bank for all your needs.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for all your financial needs since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Tri-State's Cool Hits 105.7.
Back on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hits Sports Network. James Carr, happy to have you along with us this morning. Now, we're going to try this again, and hopefully everything works the way that we need it to. Coach Champ, are you with me? All right, Coach Champ, you with me now?
Yes.
There we go. I think we've got everything all squared away now. Coach, nice win for your team last night.
Yeah, it was. I thought our kids come out and played really well. And played extremely well on defense.
What did you like about your team, the way that it responded from week 1 to week 2, after that grueling, grinded-out matchup down in the Lightning Bowl in Montgomery County until you go to a tough Round County team and shut them out last night?
Our thought going into that game was to finish drives. We felt like we left a lot of points on the field against Montgomery County, and so we wanted to go in and finish drives, not shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties and sacks and things like that. So that was kind of the theme of going into that game, and I felt like our kids did that offensively, and then defensively was to just continue to do what they had done in the Montgomery County game and take that into the Round County game.
Isaac Boggs, a kid that has really kind of filled that void that Charlie Terry left after last season. What have you seen from him to this year that has allowed him to kind of step into that role and continue that ground and pound game that you guys established so well last year?
Him and Charlie run a lot. They're very similar in their running styles of how patient they are, let the hole develop, let it open up, put their foot in the ground, and go. And, Isaac really got in the weight room over the summer, lost some weight and thinned down a little bit, got a little bit faster, and just his ability and his vision to see the hole and be patient. And then as soon as it opens, he's going to go through it.
He had a big one last night that really kind of broke that game wide open. What's the one thing that you've noticed about his patience this year with carrying the football?
He's extremely patient. He's going to get behind his pulling guards. He's going to get behind his O-line, and he's going to wait for those guys to get out in front of him and get the blocks. You know, he doesn't run off and leave those guys. He waits for them to get there, waits for the hole to develop, and then as soon as it does, he puts his foot in and gets right through it.
That offensive line up front, they had a tall task of being able to stand up to what they did last year. And a large collection of graduating seniors last year. How much have you noticed from your offensive line that's kind of taken that position almost to a personal level of saying, okay, we want to continue to do what we've done over the last couple of seasons?
I think they've shown that in the fact that we've ran for over 250 yards the first two games. They've kind of, we replaced 4 guys up front, and so we knew we'd told them that they had a big task, and a lot of people doubted them. A lot of people thought that was going to be the weak spot of our team, and Coach Freddie's done a good job of getting all those guys ready to go, and they've done a great job of taking that task and getting to work with it.
Something coaches a lot like to say is they like to see what the progress is on their team from week 1 to week 2. What were those things that you had on the whiteboard in the locker room going into the Round County Prep Week that you said, this is where we have to get better if we're going to continue to make the strides that we want to make as a football team?
We had to get better at throwing the football. We had 40 yards throwing there in the Round County or in the Montgomery County game, and so we knew we had to throw the ball a little better, get people out of the box, loosen people up, and I thought we did a good job of that. And then, just crisping things up. Defensively, I felt like securing tackles and finishing tackles, and then just secured all of our run blocking stuff up, getting all of our signals, getting all of our checks and calls, and making sure everybody was on the same page.
How much have you watched that progression of Eli? Has he settled in? And that first game of just trying to learn to manage the game and not do a little bit too much?
Yeah, I think he is. He's slowly, they did a phenomenal job for us. And as long or as good as our defensive line is going to be, or how good we think we are going to be, our D-line's got to be that good. We're going to rely heavily on our D-line and our O-line. And they're going to lead the way for us. And so Isaac Messer, Casey Adams, some guys like that pop out on the D-line, when they have good nights, we're going to have good nights.
2 games into the season, Coach, both on the road. You get home this week against Estill County. How big come home 2-0?
Yeah, coming home 2-0 is great. Everybody's excited about football, and so after last year's run and season, we get to come home and play in front of our home crowd, and there was a lot of speculation about us this year, and so we go out, we get 2 wins early and get to bring those home, and hopefully we'll have a great crowd and get to play a good football game against Estill County and see what happens.
Having those expectations coming off of the season from last year, how has the team handled that of the program going to levels that had never been to, a large graduating class, and then having to kind of play behind all of that with this year's program?
They've just taken it in stride. And I told them, what happened last year is not you all. It's a new team. You all got to write your own script. And so you learn from what they did and how they did things, and from where they made mistakes and where they succeeded, and you try to build upon that and keep going.
This week's game is
just with West week, but just every week we're focused on who we play. Last week it was all about Round County. This week it's going to be all about Estill County. We're going to come in Saturday morning. And once that happens, then we'll move on.
have you noticed throughout the program with the success that you guys have kind of tasted, especially through last season, that you've been able to make that mature step of not overlooking a team, playing each week for week that it is, and then getting to that game when it happens to come?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a rivalry game. It's still going to be on everybody's mind. Everybody knows it's week 4. It's the one game that everybody can tell you the date for, the time for, and the location for. And people are always going to talk about it. But I think that our kids have gotten better about focusing on the task at hand, dealing with that, and then moving on to that game when it's appropriate.
Well, Coach, before I turn you loose, again, that game coming up this week against Estill County at home, we'll be on the call for that with Cool TV, and we're certainly excited to welcome East Carter into the Cool TV family, and we're going to be bringing a lot of streaming events, not only just football, but volleyball, soccer, boys and girls basketball, baseball, softball, throughout the East Carter Raider community. We're certainly glad to have you guys aboard.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thanks.
Coach Tim Champlin from East Carter. Hey, man, thanks for breaking in the video side of things. We greatly appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you all.
Take care. Head coach for the East Carter Raiders, Tim Champlin. Champ is a guy that he has just done some phenomenal work out in Grayson. And, you know, the run that team made last year, me being a former Raider, I graduated there in 95. It was awesome to see that run for the program. You know, they'd never been to those levels. And the fact that the way they had to go through the playoffs, they had to beat Russell, they had to beat Ashland in back-to-back weeks. You know, no one can say that they backed into anything. You know, they earned everything they had. And they had an honest chance in that football game, in that state Final Four, of making a trip to Kroger Field and just couldn't find that one bounce that they needed. But kudos to those guys for putting together a foundation that everything can be built up on and can start to move forward. And I think that's exactly what they've been able to do. And it's phenomenal to see how winning culture that's instilled into places starts to make that happen. You know, we saw that around West Carter. Daniel Barker did a phenomenal job with his teams that he had with all the pieces there. This year, I talked with Coach Barker last night after the loss. He said, you know, we're young. We graduated a lot of pieces. A lot of those offensive pieces that made the Comets explosive. He said, but I think they played 4 or 5 kids on their first game on defense that were freshmen. And JV games and Friday Night Lights, 2 different things. And it's just learning those little things that in a JV game you can get away with. In a varsity game, it'll probably cost you 6. And, you know, don't let the score last night of that game with Fleming County against West Carter, don't let that game be indicative of how that game was. That game was way closer than the final score. It was 12-7 in the fourth quarter. And I talked with Bill Spencer, the head coach for the Panthers, after the contest. I said, Coach, how much did that change the complexity of the game when West Carter made it 12-7? He said, it was huge. He said, another score there, they don't have to kick an extra point. You're behind. So, you know, Fleming County was able to find points quickly. They got a nice touchdown to answer West Carter's first score. That made it 18-7, and then a pick 6 opened it up and made it 25-7. But that game was close in the fourth quarter. And West Carter had a fighter's chance of pulling off that win in front of the home crowd. Could not make it happen, but they gave it the effort that they needed to continue to build on. And Coach Barker told me, he said, I feel like once we get a little bit of momentum, we'll take off and we'll be fine. But you've seen this through so many programs. It's easier to lose than it is to learn to win. And sometimes it's learning those lessons of how to get over the schneid that gets you into that momentum that you need, okay? Winning doesn't fix everything. It fixes a lot of things, but it doesn't fix everything. But it certainly makes things a little bit easier. You know, the pressure's gone. Everybody's not all been out of shape all the time. It's one of those things that you got to learn to do, baby steps. But at the same time, you got to know when to take it, when to push, when to pull back. So we will see how that works. All right, we're going to take a break. Then when we will come back, we'll have in the same segment, Mr. Dwayne, don't panic on me over here. We're going to have Major League Baseball. We'll talk about scores from last night, standings, and the American League and National League wild card race as we get into the final month of the regular season. We'll spill over into October a little bit because of the strike at the first part of the season. But the final full month of the regular season, we'll see who's in, who's out, who has a legitimate shot of making a push. And, of course, at the end of the show, it's the Border Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's as we continue here on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network.
In addition to the Greenup location, Stelz Pharmacy's newest location is at 437 James Hanna Drive in South Shore, but has retained the name you know and love, McDonald Pharmacy, with the same great service you'll find in the Greenup location, with free delivery service and their convenient drive-thru. Get your vaccinations and allergy shots, and of course, great prescription service at Stelz Pharmacy in Greenup and McDonald Pharmacy, James Hanna Drive, South Shore.
Stoltz Pharmacy.
Does your gas station or convenience store need a facelift? If so, call River City Builders at 473-4112 for your remedy. Big or small projects, River City's Builders is a company for all your needs. We have extensive experience in the petroleum industry, from routine gas dispenser and canopy maintenance to above-ground, underground tank and piping work to full-blown remodels and new builds. Call River City Builders at 473-4112 for all your petroleum needs. We'll cover your back and keep your customers pumping gas.
Be prepared for all of those outdoor jobs this summer by stopping by Wagner Rental and Supply for everything you need for jobs of all sizes, including a full line of Echo lawn and garden tools, trimmers, brush cutters, power blowers, head clippers, and chainsaws. Check out their landscaping equipment such as 4x4 tractors with loaders, mini excavators, post hole diggers, trenchers, wood chippers, tillers, and more. Find the equipment, tools, and supplies you need for your next project.
Your tri-state rental supermarket, Wagner Rental and Supply.
New Boston, Jackson, Chillicothe, and Ashland, or online, WagnerRental.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Bowling, Senior Vice President of Kentucky Farmers Bank. When you do business with Kentucky Farmers Bank, you're making an investment in your community. Your money stays local, we never sell your loan, and in turn, we invest in local families, churches, schools, and charities. We believe in our community, and that's why we are the better bank for loans.
Kentucky Farmers Bank, the better bank for loans since 1931. Located in Ashland, Summit, and Catlettsburg. KentuckyFarmersBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
The weather is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. For low prices on snacks, soft drinks, and quality Marathon gasoline, visit the Clark's Pump and Shop nearest you. Clark's Pump and Shops of the Tri-State. Return, refresh, refuel.
Cool Hits weather.
Looking pretty good for your Saturday. We'll see some sunshine, maybe a few passing clouds, slight chance of a shower, high of 87. Mostly clear tonight, low of 66. We'll see sunny skies once again on Sunday, a little hot, high of 92. Partly cloudy Sunday night, low of 71.
Cool Hits 105.7.
Back on Let's Talk Sports on the Cool Hit Sports Network. James Carter, happy to have you along with us here. Big thanks to Tim Champlin from East Carter joining me on the other side. First ever video conferencing that I've ever done with the show. And again, we had a little hiccup there, but Coach Champ, he's a champ. He held with me. We had to make an adjustment. I know how to fix it for the next time. It's all good. But hey, listen, I am not a mastermind on this. Okay, I'm a mad scientist. Dwayne, you're nothing. Okay. We fix it to where you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is just sit over there and look pretty, and that's why we don't have a camera on you. Okay. But again, excited for all the stuff that we have here with the Cool Hit Sports Network and, of course, Cool TV and everything that we're doing. We're making strides as we go. And we had some technical issues last night on Olive Hill with the West Carter game that we're completely out of our control. There was a cellular tower issue with Verizon that we simply could not make a connection. And it took us right up till halftime until we were able to establish a secure connection. And again, you have no ideas of knowing how that works. That is technology. And the thing with technology is, if you know who Murphy is, old Murph was hanging out with us last night, okay? He pulled up a chair, put his feet up, and just kind of laid back and was all nice and comfy. But if it could have gone wrong last night, it did. It was not a pleasurable night. But kudos to Lane Lee and MJ McKay. They were the ones taking care of the production side of things, and they grinded through it and made it happen. And, again, we certainly wanted a full broadcast, but we got a solid performance there in the second half once we were able to establish that thing. So, it is what it is. But we take it, we put it in the back of the cap, and you keep on moving. But we're excited to have the call tonight for Raceland and Russell in the Rail Cities Bowl. Jim Forrest and I will be on. It's going to be a very unique broadcast. We're going to split play-by-play duties. So I'm going to call the offensive series for Raceland. Jim's going to call the offensive series for Russell because he does all the Russell athletic side of things on the audio side. So I've never done a broadcast like this, so it's exciting for me to do this. And Jim and I, we've worked together so many years, we could play off of each other with about anything. So, but we're going to have a special tailgate pregame show over at Raceland tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll preview the matchup. We'll talk with the coaches. Hall of Fame night for the Rams, so we'll bring in some of the members of the 2022 Hall of Fame induction class. We'll talk with Larry Coldiron, and we'll talk about the new turf. All of that right here on the Cool Hits Sports Network tonight beginning at 7 p.m. All right, let's switch gears over to Major League Baseball as it's hard to believe. We are dwindling toward the end. The dog days of summer have pushed through, and now the question, who can make that final surge over that last full month of the season of September, play themselves in, or lose some stride and play themselves out of the postseason? We'll see. Here's scores from around the leagues last night. Dodgers needed 10 to get past Miami, but they dropped the fish 10-6 down in Florida. The Reds over the Nationals 7-3. It was the Phillies over the Pirates 7-4. Angels rough up the Blue Jays 12-0 up in Toronto. Blue Jays can't be affording to drop any games right now if they're going to try to make that crazy surge they've made trying to run down the Yankees. The Mets won better than the Rockies 7-6 to maintain a little bit of a lead over Atlanta in the East. Red Sox won better than the Rays 9-8 in Fenway. Rangers defeat the Tigers 7-6. It was the Orioles blanking the Astros 2-0 in Houston. Padres hammer the Royals 13-5 in Kansas City. Twins shut out the Giants 9-0 at home. It was the D-backs 7, the White Sox 2. The Cubbies over the Brewers 4-3 in 10 up in Milwaukee. Braves dropped the Cardinals 11-4. Yankees won better than the Athletics 3-2 out on the West Coast. And it was the Mariners over the Guardians. Final score of 3-2. All right, let's take a look at our standings from around Major League Baseball. We'll start first in the American League West, the American League East. The Yankees with an 8.5 game lead over now Tampa. Toronto's 9 back. Baltimore 11.5 out. The Red Sox are pretty much, they're dead. Okay, they're 17 games out, 4 games under 500. It has been a dismal and a disappointing season for that team out of Boston. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that it was not the way that it was scripted. The Yankees on the backside of things, they look like they may clinch the division in September. And since the second half of the season past the All-Star break, they're just trying to hang on down the stretch. They don't even have the best record in the American League right now. And at one time, they had the best record in all of baseball. And again, that's still held clearly by the LA Dodgers in the National League West. But the Yankees, they've still got some work to do, as don't count out the Rays, don't count out the Blue Jays, of making that surge late. The Blue Jays and the Rays have both won 7 of the last 10. But the Yankees, after all that losing that they did, they've won 5 in a row to kind of put back a little bit of cushion there at the top. In the American League Central, Cleveland, a 3-game lead over Minnesota. The White Sox are 4 games back at an even 500. Cleveland, 66-58. But they've lost their last 2. They're 5-5 over their last 10 games. In the West, Houston with the best record in the American League, an 11.5 game lead over Seattle. Again, Seattle kind of went all in at the trade deadline and tried to bring in some pitching. They bring in Luis Castillo out of Cincinnati. Can they have enough to get down the stretch and at least back themselves into the postseason on a kind of a wild card, if you will? We'll see how that works, but I don't think they're going to chase down Houston. Okay, Houston is going to be solid down the stretch. We'll see how things work on that one. But right now, Houston, an 11.5 game lead at 81-46, best record in the American League. Over on the National League side of things, the Mets at 81-46, 2 games in front of the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta's won 8 of their last 10. They won 4 straight, but the Mets staying with them. They've won 2 in a row, including 6 of their last 10. So the Mets still hanging on up top. but that's going to be a barn burner of a finish down the stretch. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you've got to play the winner out of the National League East, or you're going to have to play that second-place team of whoever it be, the Mets or Atlanta. You don't want to see that team in any round. The 3-game series that you have to play in the wild card round, or in a 5-game series in the divisional round, or the championship series or the World Series when it gets into 7. Atlanta is probably one of the most dangerous teams in all of baseball. And the fact that they started off so slow really dug them a hole that it makes it tough for them to get out of. But we'll see. Philadelphia, they're not going to challenge for the division lead, but they're going to be right there in the mix of the wild card. They're 9.5 off the pace, but they're 71-55, 16 games over 500. They've won 5 consecutive. So Philadelphia is a team you're going to have to keep on the watch in the playoff picture for the wild card side. Getting Bryce Harper back is certainly going to help their chances down the stretch. In the National League Central, this is a 2-team race between the Cardinals and the Brewers. St. Louis has opened up a sizable lead. Now 6 games in front of Milwaukee. This is going to be one team in and the other team's not. Okay, I just don't think it's going to happen. Milwaukee's currently in that danger zone. They've lost 3 consecutive, and can they find enough to push themselves into the postseason? We'll look at that postseason picture here in just a little bit. The Reds are not in last place. Dear God, I didn't think I was ever going to say that this year. Cincinnati, with Pittsburgh losing 6 straight, now has a 2.5-game lead over the Pirates. 49-75. The Reds they're not even flirting with the worst record in the National League. That's all thanks to the Washington Nationals at 42-84. You got to be kidding me. You take a team that was eliminated from the postseason in spring training, and you're telling me this team has won 7 more games than the Washington Nationals. They should fire everybody in Washington. I mean, fire them all. Just like I'm going to do my producer one day. In the National League West, the Dodgers are the best record in baseball, 87-37. They've won 7 of their last 10. It's the Dodgers in the field. I'm not a Dodgers fan, okay? I don't dislike the Dodgers, but I am not a Dodgers fan. But here's the thing. They've got big money, and they have spent it, okay? They've got a stellar pitching staff. They've got an all-star batting lineup that goes top to bottom. They field it well. They run it well. They throw it well. They are the team to chase. They've outscored their opponents this year by 279 runs, okay? They've plated 674 to 395. Probably a good reason why they only lost 37 games. They've lost almost as many games as Washington has won this year. That's saying something right there. San Diego, man, what a disaster the Padres have turned into yet again in the second half of the season. They bring in Juan Soto. Fernando Tatis Jr. gets busted for performance-enhancing drugs after taking some medicine for a ringworm, and it gets him an 80-game suspension that's going to spill into next year. The only thing that he can hope is that somehow San Diego backs itself into the postseason and makes a deep run, because any game that plays in the postseason counts toward those 80 that he has to serve in the first part of 2023. So right now, San Diego, it's basically wild card or bust. That's the only thing they've got the hopes for as they move forward. All right, let's look at the wild card standings, as we'll start first with the American League. And Houston, the best record in the American League, is your 1 seed. The Yankees would be the 2. Cleveland is the 3. And then your 3 wild card teams would be Tampa, Toronto, and Seattle. Baltimore's 2.5 off the pace. Minnesota's 5 out. The White Sox are 6 out. Boston at 8. Texas at 10. Anything past Chicago, and I would almost probably put the White Sox on life support, is probably going to have to do a little bit of special something to get in. The Baltimore Orioles are the story of baseball this year, and they are flirting with backing themselves into the postseason. We'll see how that plays out. Now, in the National League, things look a little bit different. It's the Dodgers with the best record in baseball. The Mets are the second-place team. St. Louis would be number 3. You get 2 teams from the National League East in Atlanta and Philadelphia. Philadelphia, a 2.5-game lead over San Diego, who has a 2.5-game lead over Milwaukee. San Francisco's at 6.5, and that's where it stops. You're not going to back anybody else in. The Brewers and the Cardinals are the only two teams that are probably going to make a run of anything unless the San Diego Padres would completely collapse and somehow allow San Francisco to overtake them and the Cardinals and the Brewers can't find a way to get a second team in. But again, you're going to play three teams from the National League East this year, and I think the National League East is by far the best division in baseball this year, but the best team in baseball obviously coming out of the National League West. All right. My goodness. All kinds of good stuff there. Well, it's time for the Borders Sporting Goods rant of the week. Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 in Cannonsburgh for all your hunting and fishing needs, as well as Liberty Gun Safes. So good folks at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 in Cannonsburgh. Dwayne, I don't have anything to rant about this week. It has been a crazy week.
I can give you some.
Just stop. Don't make me rant on you. I made a career change, landed in a different teaching position, and so my first year there in Raceland at the high school teaching math. I've got 4 math classes. I've got 2 media classes, and it's been phenomenal. And I just want to take the time to basically give a shout out not only to the staff and everybody there at the school has been so welcoming to me, but the student body. I mean, the student body has been amazing. It's crazy to see kids really take ownership in their school, to take ownership not only in themselves, but those people that are around them. And it's a very welcoming thing in a society that is full of so much negativity. That's what I said. It's fun teaching. When you have kids that come in and say, man, I look forward to your class. We did a volleyball game for Raceland earlier this week when they played Russell, snapped Russell's 34-game district winning streak with a nice win at home, 3-1. We were on the call for it on Cool TV. And that day in my media class with my high school kids, it was the first day that I had to put a camera in their hands. And I said, all right, guys, I said, just in case we have a game tonight that we're going to call, and if anybody would be interested in coming in and doing some camera work, I would love to have you. Instantly, I had 2 kids that said, I'll be there. So that night at the game, we had a 3-camera angle with 2 of my students operating cameras after touching them about 4 hours prior to that, and they did a phenomenal job. I mean, phenomenal job. And I can't say enough about these kids. They are eager, they are willing to learn, and they are going to be a great addition for the media program that I'm building at Raceland Worthington High School and that we're working with here on the Cool Hits Sports Network. So, it's been an exciting week. There's been some stress, but it's not been stressful, okay? And that's the type of things that you like to be a part of. Everything that we've been doing here at the Cool Hits Sports Network with Cool TV, it's been stress, but it's not been stressful. Last night it was stressful, okay? I'm not going to lie. MJ was stressed, and he stressed to the max last night. But I think all in all, we are building a solid platform. We're growing week by week, and we certainly appreciate all the comments and feedback, positive and negative, of things that maybe viewers said that I'd like to see this or maybe this or whatever. We appreciate that. And again, you can't take just positive critique, and that's the only thing you get. You got to learn from the negative. So I've always said I'm a big boy. I can take it. I got 2 shoulders. They're pretty solid. I've got a 6'4" frame with a size 12 shoe. Pile it on. I'm pretty solid, okay? I don't like when people just want to just sugarcoat everything. So thank you to those who have given us compliments and comments or feedback that you felt like that maybe it was a shortcoming of something that we were doing or something that you would like to see on the broadcast. But we take those things, we build on them each week, and we continue to build a better product that we're going to bring for you. And we've even got a new opportunity to roll out something tonight. You might see a little instant replay tonight. Yeah. Hey, we got a big one tonight over at Ramland. Rail Cities Bowl, 7 o'clock. Our pregame tailgate show begins. We'll kick it off at 8 o'clock on the brand new turf on the true home opener for the Raceland Rams as they welcome in Russell. Jim Forrest and I will be on the call. Join us at 7 o'clock on the Cool Hits Sports Network app as well as at coolhits1057.com. You can click on the Cool TV app and go right there and watch the show. Hey, a big thanks to Tim Champlin for joining me on the show this morning. First time we'd ever done a video conference, and everything we worked it out. We figured out the bugs on it, and we'll build it moving forward. But it gives us another opportunity when those coaches, we can't get them on the show, we can find a way to make those connections with them for that video side. So we greatly appreciate that. That'll do it for us this week. Join us tonight, 7 o'clock tailgate show from Raceland Worthington High School, 8 o'clock kickoff on the Rail Cities Bowl. For Dwayne Elliott and everyone at the Cool Hit Sports Network, I'm James Collier. Have a good weekend, everyone.
You've been listening to Let's Talk Sports on Cool Hits